welcome to January in Baltimore City.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Commissioners, are we ready?
Yes.
Okay, we are about to begin proceedings and are now in session. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the, excuse me, May 19th, 2022 meeting of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. My name is Nicholas Blendy, and I'm the board's Deputy Executive Secretary, and I will begin calling the cases unless the chair has preliminary comments.
Good morning, everyone. Let's proceed.
Okay. Please, a bit of preliminary. Please wear a mask while you are not at the microphone so as not to have to enforce the seating space distances. Otherwise, we will begin with the first case, which is Linden Bar and Liquors Incorporated, trading as Linden Bar and Liquors. Premises are located at 904 to 08 West North Avenue. Licensee holds a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and is charged with one violation of the board's rules dating from one incident on March 30th, 2022. And I guess Mr. Priebus appears to be at the dais.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Priebus on behalf of the licensees.
Good morning. Will it be an admission or denial, Mr. Priebus?
Is this young lady the cadet?
There is a cadet present.
No, the cadet's present, but she is a liquor agent.
Can someone just confirm that she was under 21 and it'll
Oh,
be an admission?
the cadet is.
Oh, I paid you a great compliment, didn't I? It's better than the other way around, isn't it?
You were at the
Cadet, are you under 21?
June 7th, 2002.
And you were the cadet at issue? Thank you. It'll be an admission.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Are you going to have testimony or will you proffer?
I'll proffer. So Mr. Yim he and his wife are the longtime owners of the Linden Bar and Liquors on North Avenue. He was working that evening. He was the offending person. He was in the middle of stocking and he was distracted and he knows better. In fact, if you look at his computer printout that's part of the packet, you will see, I believe, 3 letters of commendation over the last couple of years that he did not sell underage drinking compliance check, letter of recognition that they would not sell to the minor. So he is very vigilant about such things. He just got distracted because he was in the middle of stocking.
Okay. Anything further?
No, it's just the last sale to minor violation was in 2018.
Yes, we have. Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No? Okay. Do we have anyone else who wishes to testify on this case? It doesn't appear to be.
If I can just add one other thing is his property is where the new train tunnel is going to be. So he won't be around for much longer anyway.
And who's knocking?
That is work on the facade, Mr. Chair.
That was you or someone else?
It's cold.
All right, okay. Thank you, Mr. Priebus. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and your proffer and your admission on behalf of your client, I would find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor on March 30, 2022. You're correct about his record. The last violation was 4 years ago. The others were far more distant. So in this case, I would impose a $750 fine and give him 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the information received in the docket and proffered by the attorney, I also vote that the occupant at this 904 to 908 West North Avenue committed a violation of Rule 401A, sales to minor.
Yes,
You agree with
Mr.
the
Chair.
sanction?
Yes,
Okay.
I agree with the sanction.
Mr. Chair, based on testimony and evidence provided today, I agree with the chair's findings of a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and a fine of $750.
Thank you, Mr. Priebus.
Thank you very much.
I call exhibits for the record.
Please.
Exhibit number 1, violation report, Inspector Jordan. Exhibit number 2, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Dada.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Please take your receipt. Thank you. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Item number 2 on the violations docket is licensee Joey B. LLC, trading as Around the Way Liquors. Premises are located at 1801 West North Avenue. Licensee holds a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license and is charged with one violation of the board's rules, a violation of 4.01A, sales to minor, stemming from one incident on March 30th, 2022.
Is there anyone present on behalf of the licensee? Ms. Russell, do we have service?
We do.
Okay, let's provide testimony then.
I'm sorry.
Agent Perez?
Agent, good morning. Will you raise your right hand?
Morning. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, will you tell us what happened on March 30?
Agent Perez, Baltimore City Liquor Board. March 30, 2022, approximately 8:55 p.m., I, Agent Perez, a member of the BPD Vice Unit, conducted underage drinking compliance investigations at Around the Way Liquors, located at 1801 West North Avenue. Also working with our two agencies in undercover capacity were Cadet Ayala and Cadet Cromer, who at the time of this investigation were both under the legal age of 21. Cadet Ayala and Cadet Cromer entered the establishment, and Cadet Cromer purchased two 50mm bottles of Tito's vodka for a total of $460, utilizing a previously photocopied $20 bill. The server, who was later identified with a Maryland ID as James Sidney, after making the purchase, the cadet notified the task force via text message that they had been sold alcohol beverage. Minutes later, myself, a lone member of the BPD Vice Unit, entered the establishment and advised the operator that he had just sold alcohol to underage police cadets.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
None?
Is there anybody else who wishes to testify on this matter?
Perhaps just the cadet to prove the age,
Um,
if you need.
We can accept hearsay, so I think we're all right. You indicated that they were underage, right?
Yes, sir.
Then
Good for me.
may I make one observation for the board? The licensee at this location has also not renewed their liquor license, so it expired on April 30th, 2022.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and the testimony received this morning, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a on March 30, 2022. This is the third violation in the last several years. I'd impose a $1,200 fine and give them 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the testimony given by the inspector and information contained in this file, I also find that the owner of this establishment had committed a violation of Rule 401A, sales to minor, and I concur with the $1,200 fine.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, based on the testimony and evidence provided today, I agree with the chair's findings, a violation of Rule 4.01A to minors, and the fine of $1,200.
Thank you. Ms. Russell?
And exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, violation report, Agent Perez. Board Exhibit 2, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective Gatto.
Thank you. Next case, please.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. Item number 3 on the docket is licensee Doc's Liquors Incorporated, trading as Doc's Liquor. Premises are located at 1501 North Fulton Avenue. Licensee holds a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license and is charged with one violation of the board's rules, a violation of 4.01A, sales to minors, stemming from an incident on March 30th, 2022.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Peter Previs on behalf of the licensees, Michael Gebru and Aaron Efstafanos, who is the city resident licensee. Also present with me is Mr. Kabram Efarne, who is the brother-in-law of the licensee and the offending, or allegedly offending.
Okay. Good morning. It's going to be an admission or denial?
If the cadet would confirm that he was the person at issue and that he was under 21 at the time, it would be an admission.
Can we swear the cadet, please?
Yep.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the whole truth, the whole truth, so help you God?
I do.
And what's your name, sir?
Ronald Cromer.
And on March 30 of 2022, how old were you?
How old was I? I was 19.
19, did you say?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. That would be an admission.
Okay. Did you want to give us some explanation?
I would. Mr. Chairman, So Mr. Cabram here was helping out at the store. Mr. Gebru, who I've known for quite some time, 2.5 years ago, he lost his 20-something-year-old son, who was a fabulous athlete and had a heart issue and died unexpectedly. His wife had a lung issue, and I think she also died of a broken heart. So she was too weak she had lung failure, and she was too weak for a transplant. She ultimately died on May 3rd of this year. But she was in and out of the hospital for quite some time, and Mr. Gebru was with her, and his brother-in-law was manning the store. And Mr. Cabram admits that he was just very distracted at the time and didn't ask for cards, and it was a mistake, and that's basically what happened here.
Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
None.
Is there anyone else who wishes to testify? Okay, on the basis then of the materials contained in the charging documents and the proffer from counsel, which includes an admission, I find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor, on March 30, 2022. Mr. Gebru, I want to state my sympathy to you for your losses, and it's understandable that you might have been under a lot of stress at that time. So you have a record of several violations in the last few years, but in light of all the circumstances, I'll impose a $500 fine and give you 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
I concur with the chair findings and also the $500 fine.
Yes, based on the testimony and evidence provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and the fine of $500.
Ms. Russell?
I'd call exhibits for the record. It's exhibit number 1, violation report, Inspector Tudhope. 2, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall we call the next matter, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Item number 4 on today's docket is licensee HM Enterprise Incorporated, trading as Fox Liquors. Premises are located at 1301-03 North Fulton Avenue. Licensee holds a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license and is charged with one violation of one of the board's rules, that is a 4.01A sales to minors stemming from one incident on March 30th, 2022.
Good morning, sir. What is your name?
Young Lee.
You're Mr. Lee. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Do you solemnly swear affirm that the testimony you're about to give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Mr. Lee, you're charged with this occurrence on March 30. Do you wish to admit or deny that it happened?
Yeah. This is first time the running business, and then we got the good standing letters before, but that time there was a crazy customer people that come inspector. We were out of mind at that time.
Okay, so it did happen, is what you're saying, but it was a confusing time. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, the closing time and then confusing. Yes.
It's difficult because of the mask to hear, but I think I understood you correctly. Did I understand you correctly?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. The commissioners have any questions for Mr. Lee?
None.
None.
Anyone else? Okay. On the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and your testimony, Mr. Lee, I do find a violation of Rule 4.01 small a, sale to minor, on March 30, 2022. You're correct that you have had this license since 2017 and you've had no prior violations. So give you a bit of a buy this time. I'm going to impose a $250 fine and give you 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Thank you.
Based on the information given and information found in this docket for this case, I also concur with the chair, and I also agree with the finding of $250.
Yes, based on the testimony and evidence provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of a violation of Rule 4.01A, sales to minors, and the fine of $250.
Ms. Russell?
I'd call exhibits for the record. Exhibit number 1, violation report, Inspector Jordan. Exhibit number 2, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron.
Mr. Lee, thank you, and they'll give you any information that you need.
And that concludes this matter before the board.
We're ready for the next case?
Then, item number 5 on today's violation docket. Licensee 99 Uptown Incorporated, trading as Uptown Bar. Premises are located at 1901 Edmondson Avenue, holds a Class B D7 beer, wine, and liquor license and is charged with one violation of the board's rules, 4.01A, sales to minors, stemming from an incident on March 30th, 2022.
Good morning, counsel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairperson and the Commissioners. J.U. representing the licensee, Mr. Young Min Chang.
Mr. Yu, will this be an admission or denial?
It'll be an admission, Your Honor.
Okay, do you want to proffer for us?
Yes.
All right,
if I may.
please do.
Mr. Chang, one of the employee was working at the time, Ms. Chase, Susan Chase. Mr. Chang made sure that she will not be violating the rules again. So he had her undergo the alcohol awareness training again. This is the original copy, so I will not be able to submit, but she did undergo the training again, and he did purchase the card reader this time, so to make sure that she cards everybody. And also she obtained a community support letter, which I may submit because
We'll take this, and this will be received.
requesting to have a leniency on Mr. Chang because he's really supporting the community and they love him.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
None?
None.
Is there anyone else who wishes to testify on this matter? All right, Mr. Yu, then on the basis of the materials contained in the charging documents and your proffer, which includes an admission on behalf of your client, I do find a violation of Rule 4.01, small a, sale to minor on March 30, 2022. This is his third in the last few years, which is unfortunate. And I recognize that there is support in the community and that he's been generous to them. Looks like he's trying to do good things, and I commend you for that. Makes it a little difficult for us, but last time you were fined $750. I'm going to fine you $1,000 this time and hope it's the last and give you 30 days to pay. Commissioners?
Based on the information filed in this case and proffer given by the attorney, I also agree with you, Commissioner, that a 401A violation has occurred. And I agree with the fine of $1,000.
Yes, based on the testimony and evidence provided today, I also agree with the chair's findings of a violation of Rule 4.01A, sale to minors, and also the fine of $1,000.
Ms. Russell?
Like Elizabeth, for the record, Board Exhibit number 1, violation report, Agent Perez. 2, Baltimore City Police Department report, Detective LeBron. 3, community letter of support.
Thank you, Mr. Yu. Good luck to you, sir. Thank you, Cadet. I think that's our violation docket for today.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chair. We have concluded the violations, and thank you. The chair has excused you. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
All right, then moving on to part 2 of today's docket, regular items. The first matter on the regular items docket has been postponed. Will be scheduled for a later date. Item number 2 then is the first case to be called, is applicant Joyce A. Young, 316 to 318 Guilford Avenue LLC, trading as trade name pending. Proposed premises are located at 316 to 18 Guilford Avenue. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1001D1, which authorizes the license holder to sell beer, wine, and liquor by the drink and by the bottle within the arena from one or more outlets for on-premises consumption. As per Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1001E1, the arena shall have a minimum capital investment, not including any real property, of $1 million, a minimum capacity of 1,000 people as determined by the city fire department, and licensee is also requesting live entertainment.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Priebus on behalf of the applicant, Ms. Joyce Young, who is directly to my right.
Good morning. You want
To her
proffer
immediate,
for us? Go ahead. To her right is?
and this is Ms. Tracy Stafford, who will be the full-time operator and has been involved with this, the business for quite some time in its current form.
Do you want them to testify or are you going to proffer for us?
I'll proffer.
Okay. Good morning, ladies. Thank you. Thank you.
So 316, 318 Guilford Avenue, if you recall, it was the Bourbon Street property at one point. It is on Guilford Avenue right here, right before you get to Saratoga. The establishment had been created as an entertainment venue for quite some years. A few years ago, Bourbon Street left, and then there was a new landlord, and there's been a different changes in hands. And most recently, the premises has been operated as a wedding venue and continues to be so. So Ms. Stafford, who is full-time,
Performing the weddings? No.
I could go online and get myself qualified, but no.
I tried to do that one time in Virginia. They wouldn't allow it. But
Oh, that's funny. In any event, so Ms. Stafford, let me back up. Recently, the real estate was purchased by Mr. Larry Young, not of the radio Mr. Larry Young, but a different Mr. Larry Young, who is, Ms. Young is standing on behalf of Mr. Larry Young, who is the owner of the building.
Are they related?
They're related. You're,
Yes.
that's your son, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the business entity will be, in mom's name, mom will be the licensee and the applicant. Ms. Stafford will actually be the full-time operator. Ms. Stafford has vast experience in the entertainment business. I've known Ms. Stafford since she was little and starting out in the business and has since developed into a concert promoter and has become very, very successful in that endeavor. So the plans for this establishment, they have, I believe, 60 weddings booked currently and to continue to do that. They will also have occasional concerts. With that in mind, there is already a full-time, very responsible security staff on hand, and that is GS Security. They are licensed, they are bonded, the people that come all have guard cards, and Ms. Stafford has worked with them both at this establishment and in prior establishments and has found them to be extremely responsible. Is that right, Ms. Stafford?
Yes.
Okay, so the establishment, so currently they have weddings and nobody's wedding's getting canceled. That business is hot now that COVID is over with, and
Your lips to God's ears.
yes. I went to a wedding in North Jersey this weekend. It's like, boy, do they do weddings up there. Italian wedding. And woo! Anyway, Ms. Stafford hopes to match that type of environment, and she does. So the main focus is going to be the weddings, but to top that off will be the concerts. Things are not booked at this point because we're awaiting this license, but that is the intended use.
And do they meet the threshold for the $1 million investment?
Yes, you had that in your packet. I was kind of retained on the back end.
Is it in our record? It is, okay.
Yes, Mr.
And the
Chairman.
capacity
Yes,
as well?
Capacity, according to, well, truthfully and according to what's already been submitted, I believe the fire department is upwards of 2,000.
Okay.
The 1,000 is the minimum under the arena license. There was arena license there previously, Mr. Chairman, so the extensive renovations were done back then, and since then, I think it's only required improvements, but not a total rebuild. So it is quite an impressive facility. And
What's the nature of the live entertainment?
The nature of the live entertainment, Ms. Stafford, could you elaborate a little
Are
bit?
you in, ma'am? If you raise your right hand, please.
Come to the mic.
You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I did.
Your name, please.
Tracy Stafford,
Good morning.
STAFFORD.
Okay. And you want to tell us about the live entertainment, please?
Yes, I want to do like a 30 and over brunches and have live entertainment, jazz, R&B concerts during the meals.
And these weddings, are they typically DJs or bands or what?
DJ receptions, some bands, but they've been very, very nice. Lot of beautiful weddings.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
Yes.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Counselor, this is just information purposes. I remember when it was Bourbon Street and Hammerjacks, so requesting live entertainment, what are the days and the hours? I mean, are you going to be open like Thursday, Friday, Saturday? during the weekends, or are you just gonna say you're gonna have it if the venue's a wedding or something else? I mean, you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, so if someone were to book a 500-person wedding on a Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, we would certainly be open, but it's probably not going to happen. So for starters, we're planning on a Thursday happy hour, which would be a DJ, perhaps 6 to 11, more of a happy hour event. Fridays, there's mostly booked for weddings right now, but you're totally booked, but if there was, in fact, an opening, it could be available for just open operations, but right now, you're all booked. Saturdays is weddings only. If there's any open bookings, you could perhaps have a concert is planned, but
Yeah.
weddings are kind of running
Taking
things
them
right now.
all, and Sundays as well.
And then you have Sunday brunch, which you described, which would be like 1 to 5, and that would be a DJ and perhaps on occasion a
Yeah,
small
and that's gonna be
comedy show.
sporadic. I still have a lot of weddings on Sundays as well.
Great.
90% of weddings.
Yeah.
What about parking?
Do you have an arrangement with Mercy with
Yes,
the
I've
lot
met with
across the
Mercy.
street?
They're allowing us to use the lot across the street,
Okay,
yes.
I'm good, Mr. Chair.
What's the capacity of that parking?
That I do not know.
Wow, that's
Let's see.
probably 500 at
It's
least.
pretty huge.
And what's the crowd capacity?
I think it was 2,000 if I totaled everything up, both floors.
That's correct. That's
People
what's
don't
stated on the
invite
application.
2,000 guests to a wedding, do they? No,
In India,
maybe. I mean, I've been to large weddings, but not that big.
Yeah.
Yes. Does that answer your question,
I'm
Commissioner?
good.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to explain the first and second floor? And there used to be a deck that's out of play right now.
Yes, so
Okay,
it's
so
just a-
describe the first and second floor.
So it's actually a two-sided building. It's 16 and 318. But normally, most weddings just use the whole first floor, and sometimes the upstairs for a cocktail hour. That's pretty much it. It's just a two-sided building, but it has walls that divide it. So it's really based on how large the wedding is, whether we open both sides or not.
Do they have a small rooftop? Is that still there?
That's what I was calling the deck. It's there, it's not usable at this
Oh,
point.
okay.
It's dilapidated.
That would have to be a lot of money and down the road.
A lot
It's
of money.
not in play right now.
And how large is your staff, Ms. Stafford?
I would say about 20.
Are they going to be tip certified if they're going to handle
Yes,
alcohol?
awareness, the whole 9.
Okay.
And that's in addition to the security.
Yes.
All right. Do you have anything further, Mr. Priebus?
No,
Do the
Mr. Chairman.
commissioners have anything further?
I'm good, thank you.
Mr.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard?
Mr. Chair, I'll just note for the record that the document submitted regarding capital investment did prove the excess of $1 million.
Thank you.
It's in your file.
One final thing is, Ms. Stafford did meet with Mercy, and they were
Yesterday.
in support. They did not have any objection.
Good.
Okay. All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the record, on the basis of the proffer from Mr. Priebus and the testimony from Ms. Stafford, I'd vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license and include live entertainment. Commissioners?
Also, I approve the license too, but based on the application and supporting documentation and proffer, I approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license requesting live entertainment.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, based on testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license, and also the request for live entertainment.
Thank you. Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record?
Thank you, Ms. Priebus. Good luck, ladies.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensee have received instructions on how to legally complete obtaining the new Class B beer, wine, and liquor arena license that the board preliminarily approved today. Next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Then item number 3 on today's docket has also been postponed per request of council and will be scheduled at a later date, which brings us to item number 4 on the regular items. Applicant Mark Daniel Hansen Jr., Russell John Cipolla, and Rachel Marie Paulino, Copper Shark LLC, trading as Copper Shark. Premises are located at 921 East Fort Avenue, Unit 135. And this is an amended application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service, requesting live entertainment, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Morning, counsel.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. For the record, Justin Williams from the law firm Rosenberg, Martin, Greenberg, joined by the licensee applicants, Mark Hansen and Rachel Paulino. The third, Russ Cipolla, has COVID. Yes.
Okay. You going to proffer for us, Mr.
Yes.
Williams? Okay.
Thank
You may,
Which one?
please.
Okay, good. So yes, this is like the fifth, or hopefully final hearing about this location for you. This was last before the board on multiple extension requests, but the principal application was to transfer ownership and we'll get at the same location, which was a former wine market in Locust Point at 921 East Fort Avenue, to be operated as Copper Shark. It's a concept from the Mid-Atlantic Eateries Group. You previously approved the application. The only change was the licensee individual. Ms. Paulino's here. She's replacing Mr. Neil Shavitz. Ms. Paulino has decade of experience in the industry, formerly at Jimmy's Seafood and Half Smoke Restaurant. We can give you more information if you'd like, but since it's been approved multiple times, I won't.
Do you know what the date of approval was, Mr. Blendy?
Give me 1 second. They were last here for a 90-day transfer hardship that was about to expire, which necessitated the,
So it was prior to that?
yes,
12/10/2020.
12/10/2020.
And then the initial approval was in May 7th, 2020.
Okay. So it's taken a while.
COVID's been delaying everything, but hopefully.
it's ready
from
to go now?
Mr. Priebus's lips to God's ears will be done.
Yeah, the transfer hardship would have expired on March 28th, 22, so that necessitated the need to amend the application.
And the only substantial or material amendment here is Ms. Paulino
That's
joining? Okay. Commissioners have questions?
None.
You said it was the old wine market?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Williams. On the basis that the materials contained in the application, as well as your proffer and any testimony received this morning, I vote to approve the amended application to transfer ownership with outdoor table service and live entertainment, off-premise catering, and delivery of alcohol beverages. Commissioners?
Also, based on the information received and proffered by the attorney, information in this document, I also approve the transfer of ownership, request for outdoor table service, live entertainment, and off-premise catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the amended application to transfer ownership and the request for outdoor table service, live entertainment, off-premise catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Good luck to you folks.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants have received instructions from this board on how to legally complete the transfer that was preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
Item number 5 on the regular docket, William George Wantland Jr. and Patrick Cabulong, Club Pussycat Incorporated, trading as Club Pussycat. Premises are located at 411 East Baltimore Street. Licensees hold both a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and also a Class AE adult entertainment license. And this is a request to expand the license premises of both licenses to include the lower level, the basement.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Peter Priebus on behalf of the licensees. To my immediate right is Mr. William George Wantland, one of the owners and licensees of the premises.
Good morning. You want to tell us about the expansion?
Sure. Club Pussycat is on the block, and you might have seen them on TV recently with the proposed legislation. Mr. Wantland was one of the speakers on behalf of the block and did a fabulous job with taking the lead on that. In any event, he and his wife also own that building at 411 East Baltimore Street. So the configuration as it previously existed was the Club Pussycat operated on the first floor and the Red Room operated on the basement. The Red Room, the owners of that establishment went through some type of marital difficulties and ultimately left those premises, and that license, I believe, is still up in the air, whatever might or might not happen to it. But Mr. Wantland, as both the owner of the building and Mr.
They're
and
no
Mrs.
longer tenants, I
They're
think.
no longer tenants. So Mr. and Mrs. Wantland, as both owners of the building and owners of the Club Pussycat, proposed to take over that basement space and include it into the Club Pussycat business. It would all be run as one business operation under the trade name Club Pussycat, not as two separate businesses, not with any separate tenant or anything like that. There's obviously a separate bar and a separate dance area in the basement, but it would all be one thing, the Club Pussycat. Just like the Hustler has has 2 levels, it would be the same type of thing.
Okay, commissioners have any questions?
None.
None.
Is there anyone else who wishes to be heard? I know for the record that they have no history of violations, so it's, I commend you on that, sir.
And being in the adult entertainment overlay district, there's no issue with zoning, and I believe he's already got the use permit.
I got all these.
Okay. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, as well as any testimony received, I vote to approve the request to expand the licensed premises to include the lower level basement at 411 East Baltimore Street. Commissioners?
Based on the application filed and proffer given by the attorney, I also approve the request to expand the licensed premises to include lower level basement.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the request to expand licensed premise to include lower level basement.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensees have received instructions on how to complete the required documentation that the board preliminarily, for the request the board preliminarily approved today. Next matter, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
The next matter, item number 6 on the docket, Red Emma's Cooperative, trading as Red Emma's. Premises are located at 1225 Cathedral Street, hold a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 180-day hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202.
Counsel?
To make sure, Commissioner, that I can remove the mask.
It's fine. If it's all right with your client there.
Abraham Hurdle on behalf of Red Emma's Cooperative, trading as Red Emma's at 1225. I'm here to assist the landlord in this matter and in part the licensee. The establishment has been open in some capacity, but the last time we have on record them serving alcohol, I believe, is sometime in January, which is one of the reasons we filed the hardship. We wanted to get ahead of it a little bit. The landlord is planning to transfer it to them as a secured creditor and/or purchaser in the near future. We're hoping to find a tenant so we can skip that in-between step if possible.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
None.
Okay. Anyone else? All right, thank you. We have your letter, Mr. Hurdle, of May 2, 2022. And on the basis of that and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 180-day hardship extension. Commissioners?
Based on the application filed and information received in this case, I also approve the request for a hardship extension for 180 days.
Yes, based on the testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for a hardship extension of 180 days.
All right, Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Next matter, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
The next matter is item number 7, Meech's Inc., trading as Schaefer's Bar and Restaurant. Premises are located at 121 West Randall Street. It is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is also a request for a 180-day hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202.
I'm sorry, oh, okay, this is 121 West Randall Street, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Randall Street?
okay. And is this your client as well, Mr. Hurdle?
This is.
Okay.
I'm here on behalf well, there's actually some confusion on this. Mr. Craig Mack Sr., prior to his passing, has indicated, well, I have been told by Mr. Motzi, who was handling the estate, that prior to Mr. Craig Mack's passing, he transferred the interest to his 2 sons, indicating that there probably would not be a need for a PR in this situation. That information was made clear to me after we filed the hardship. We still want the hardship. Again, just like the last one, our information is that the last time they sold alcohol was sometime back in, I believe, late November or December. That we can verify through wholesale purchases, that is. And we're asking for a 90-day, well, I guess a 6-month extension, 180 days, while the location is closed to find a buyer for that license and remove the license.
Okay. All right, the commissioners have anything?
None.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr. Hurdle. Again, I have your letter of April 1, 2022, as well as your proffer this morning, and I'd vote to approve the 180-day hardship extension for this license. Commissioners?
Based on the application filed and the request in the file, I also approve the request for a hardship extension for 180 days.
Based on the testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for a hardship extension of 180 days.
Mr. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Hurdle.
I also have number 13. I was wondering if we could maybe
Which one is that?
switch that up. That's for United Penn Operating at 2043-45 Penn Avenue.
Let me see if we get to that.
You
What's the address?
want me to call that one, Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
Okay.
What's the address?
2043-45 Pennsylvania Avenue. United Penn
Is that our
Operating.
last one?
Should be the last one in the binder. Then calling per the chair's instructions, regular docket item number 13, United Penn Operating LLC trading as Wonderland Liquors. Premises are located at 2043 to 45 Pennsylvania Avenue. License is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Once again, Mr. Hurdle?
Abraham Hurdle, on behalf of Jim Pay, United Penn Operating LLC. This is a 12-1705B request for extension of 90 days to complete the transfer. I think when we filed this, we were days away from the deadline, and we're struggling with a trader's license. We continue to have issues with the sales tax office. That isn't the board's fault in any way, but the sales tax office has asked for kind of new documents, and we're hoping that we can get this wrapped up hopefully in the next 2 weeks.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
None.
All right, anyone else? All right, Mr. Hurdle, then on the basis of your letter of May 2, 2022, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license. Commissioners?
Based on the application filed and your request in the file for a 90-day extension, I approve the 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Based on the testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for a transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. May I be excused?
Yes.
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Ms. Russell.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall we move back in order, Mr. Chair?
Let's go back, yes.
All right, then, item number 8 on today's docket, the regular items, it's a contract purchases, trading, Kevin Stander, contract purchaser, trading as no trade name. Premises are located at 1739 to 41 Light Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and a request for a 180-day hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-2202.
Morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant. He was unable to be here today. Mr. Stander is the landlord at 1739 to 41 Light Street. The tenant moved out, lease ended. Mr. Hurdle represented the tenant, and even though the lease didn't end until the end of 2021, the last day in business there was October 31st, 2021. So I wanted to make sure I got a 2022 request in here. So I'm asking for 180 days to run from April 29th so that they will have the ability to get a new tenant in there by October 26, 2022. Thank you.
Commissioners?
None.
All right, anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr. Fogelman. On the basis of your written request of April 12, 2022, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve the 180-day hardship extension for this license. Commissioners?
Based on the request for the 180-day letter included in this file, I also vote and approve the request for a hardship extension of 180 days.
Based on the testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for a hardship extension of 180 days.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Fogelman.
Thank you very much.
That concludes this matter before the board. Mr. Chair, the next matter?
Please.
Item number 9 on the regular docket, Risky Biscuits LLC, trading as Bunnies. Premises are located at 801 to 03 South Ann Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B, as well as a hardship extension of 180 days under the provisions of 12-2202.
Once again, Mr. Fogelman.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, Matt Ackman, who is here to my right. This is the old Wharf Rat at 801 to 803 South Ann Street. It's a building that's over 200 years old. The concept for the new restaurant is going to be markedly different than the Wharf Rat, and so they're doing extensive renovations. They will definitely need an additional 90 days from the running of the transfer on June 14th, so that they could finish a transfer by September 12th, 2022. They have run into, like I say, just renovation delays, labor delays. So, and we are also, because the last alcohol was served on the premises on or about November 6, 2021, we are asking for 180 days to run after May 5th. That would give them until November 1st, 2022 for the license.
Commissioners?
No question.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Fogelman. On the
Mr.
basis of your written request of April 18, 2022, as well as your proffer this morning, vote to approve a 180-day transfer hardship extension and hardship extension for this BD7 license. Commissioners?
Based on letter received requesting 180 days and proffer given by the attorney, I also approve the request for a transfer hardship extension and hardship extension.
Yes, based on testimony provided today, I also approve the extension of 180 days and also the request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Ms. Russell?
No, it's exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Fogelman. Good luck to you, Mr.
Thank you very
Ackman.
much.
And Mr. Chair, just as a point of clarity for the record, did all commissioners voted for the 90-day transfer and the 180-day hardship?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next matter.
Please.
Item number 10 on the regular docket, One Chef Mac LLC, trading as trade name pending. Premises are located at 623 to 25 South Lucerne Avenue. License is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license, and this is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Thank you. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant in this case, and you're going to hear in the final three cases. As Mr. Hurdle described, there are some issues at the sales tax unit that we've not seen before. Some kind of trouble with their IT systems where they're not able to access proof of prior payment, even though you're paying your sales tax to the state. They say, can you send us copies of everything you filed since, a year and a half ago? So these all require stops to the accountant that did not before. And so in this case, I believe that's literally, that may be the last step to finishing this transfer. So we'd ask for 90 days under 2022 from April 19, 2022, so that Ms. Hawkins, who is the spouse of Mr. Moore, who's the GM, who's here today, can finish that transfer. Thank you so much.
Commissioners?
No questions.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, FYI, is that regards to sales tax, is that the state or the city that's
That's the
responsible?
state. It's yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr. Fogelman. On the basis of your letter of April 12, 2022, as well as your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this license. Commissioners?
Based on your requesting by way of letter and your proffer today, I also approve the request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Yes, based on the testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Item number 11 on the regular docket, Judy's Island Grill Canton LLC, trading as Judy's Island Grill. Premises are located at 2300 to 02 Boston Street. This is a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and a request for a transfer hardship extension of 90 days under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Thank you, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, Randall Craig, who is present.
Same story?
Absolutely. In fact, they were hoping to open this weekend, but we've hit this sales tax snag. It just means that the seller's accountant has to send a lot of paperwork to the state for them to release this hold. Obviously, this is a brand new company, so it can't be out of good standing. It hasn't sold anything, food or alcohol, so it's just the seller's data that needs to get to the state. So I thank you.
Commissioners?
None.
No questions.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Mr. Fogelman. Again, on the basis of your written request of April 12, 2022, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this BD7 license.
And so, I'm sorry.
Commissioners?
None.
Also, based on your request by letter and your proffer today, I also approved your request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Based on testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension for 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall we move to the final item, Mr. Chair? Then, the last item before the board today, item number 12 on the regular docket, GEGE LLC, trading as Little Donna's, 1810 to 12 Bank Street. This is a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license and a request for a transfer hardship extension of 90 days under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B.
Thank you, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of applicant Robert Tutluski.
And once again, same
Yes,
issue?
this is, I believe that is also our last stop. Is the, he was waiting for the sales and use tax license for a long time. That's resolved. We believe there's a possible state sales tax hold still. It may be gone, but we filed this on April 3rd, and we obviously, since we aren't 100% sure that this license is released, we are asking for 90 days, which would take them to July 4th of this year. And with all these numbers, 90, 180, et cetera, I realized it was 798 days since I last came into this room before you. So it's a pleasure to be back. Thank you
Good.
all.
Thank you. Commissioners?
No questions.
Okay. Anyone else? All right. Mr. Fogelman, on the basis of your written request of April 3, 2022, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this Class D license. Commissioners?
Based on your proffer and your 90-day request, I also approve your request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Based on testimony provided today, I also vote to approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Fogelman. Good luck to you, sir.
That concludes this matter before the board. There is no further business, Mr. Chair. Commissioners, do you have anything before I call recess?
Then?
Yes, sir. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City stands in recess until June the 2nd, 2022. We will post a notice on our website as well as send any notice to applicants or violation licensees. That is all we have, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thanks to the commissioners, to the staff, and everyone who works at the Liquor Board, and all those who participated this morning. We'll see you on June 2.
Off the record, Mr. Chair.